Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We start tonight on this frigid evening with a live look at Schweitzer Mountain. Due to the cold temperatures, wind, and even more cold temperatures, they had to close some chairs and runs today. Silver Mountain had to outright close today due to the weather, proving yes, it can be too cold and windy even for ski resorts. All right, let's take a look at the forecast here locally because it is incredibly cold outside right now. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick braving the elements in the Outdoor Weather Center at this hour. Just 9 degrees out there, Thomas. What's it feel like?
Yeah, well, you have to be well bundled up to be out in this kind of weather, and a lot of you might be out there first thing tomorrow morning when our temperatures could be as low as about 3 degrees above zero, and even a little bit of a wind, though calmer than it was from this morning, still adding that wind chill factor into the atmosphere. Wind chill advisories in effect until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and those wind chills will likely be below zero pretty much all night long. Here are the air temperatures that we're expecting: 3 above in Spokane, 2 above in Coeur d'Alene, 4 below out in Newport. And with that fresh coating of snow that we had from about a day and a half ago, well, that is just adding to the refrigeration effect as it is. So that's why our temperatures can get as cold as they are. Wind chills for tonight, it's, well, when you factor in the cold, which is a little bit colder than last night, but not quite as windy. We're kind of in this area on the wind chill chart between about -5 to about -20, depending on where you're at across the inland Northwest. And of course, we want to keep an eye out on our pets as well. Not a good night for them to sleep outside, but obviously during the daytime hours, if you're walking them, make sure you know your dog's tolerance when it comes to the outdoor weather. The Arctic breeds can handle this weather a lot better than most smaller dogs can. So of course, just keep that in mind. By the way, that last chart that you saw, you can see that in detail on my Twitter page. But those winds were feisty out of the northeast yet again today, but are starting to calm down. So we'll show you just how much longer these winds will be with us and when the worst of the Arctic weather is through later on this week.
Looking forward to that, Thomas. Thank you very much. And today's sub-freezing temperatures are proving to be a challenge for many drivers around the region. According to the Washington State Department of Transportation, plows were sent out today with sand rather than salt, and that's because salt only works above 15 to 20 degrees. Transportation officials say those icy roads led to at least 60 accidents yesterday. Today, drivers fared much better with just 5. The city says crews will continue to operate 20 hours a day, and they'll continue to monitor the streets on an hourly basis.
Absolutely. I mean, we were able to add additional space yesterday, and we're continuing to add space. There are spots in the system that are still unused, and we focused on areas that were historically need areas.
With the bitter cold, many people are asking the city of Spokane to help the homeless community. The city announced today that it had actually explored a location for an additional shelter during the Arctic blast of weather. That location was at 5205 North Florida Road. That's near Freya and Queen, which is a city-owned property. However, city spokesperson Brian Coddington said there was a lot of pushback from the surrounding neighborhood. So coming up in just about 5 minutes, we'll share the story of how some community members are helping those stuck out in the cold tonight. Last week, we heard from the family of a man who was shot and killed by Clearwater County deputies last month. Tonight, we're hearing from the attorney representing those deputies. He says their use of deadly force was justified and that body cam footage will show why. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk in the newsroom tonight with more on the deadly encounter.
Well, Mark, to be clear, that body cam video has not been made public, but attorney Joe Filicetti told me he's watched it and is confident investigators will agree this shooting was justified. The family of the man shot hired their own attorneys, and they want these deputies to face criminal charges.
Mike Trappett was his parents' primary caregiver. He struggled with bipolar disorder and was drunk on the early morning of January 31st when he grabbed a kitchen knife and threatened to harm himself. His mom called 911.
You have a person armed with a knife who's making an attack on an officer, and at that point they ended up using deadly force.
Joe Filicetti represents the 2 deputies who shot Trappett a total of 15 times outside his parents' Orofino home.
He's got a deadly weapon on him, and he is drunk and on drugs and engages law enforcement. That's just not a good recipe for anything or for anyone.
Trappett's family argues he was only a threat to himself.
When it comes to knife attacks, the range of death is 21 feet. And there's video cam to document how close he was, but they estimated 8 to 10 feet. In that situation, you're in the zone of danger and you're authorized to use deadly force.
Attorneys representing Trappett's family claim deputies altered the crime scene and even pressured neighbors to say Trappett was aggressive.
Those are investigators that have come to a conclusion before investigating and are trying to protect their officers.
No reason for deputies to even be speaking with the people. The investigation is being done by Lewiston PD.
Felicetti says the deputies involved have a combined experience of 20 years in law enforcement.
Officers try and do everything they can to not use deadly force.
He says the shooting has been hard on them and their families.
This takes a toll on officers' lives. They train for this and they never ever want to do this.
And since this shooting involved the Clearwater County Sheriff's Office, an outside agency, in this case the Lewiston Police Department, is investigating. Trappett's family plans to file a notice of tort claim. That's a precursor to a lawsuit. In the newsroom, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law.
Tonight, President Joe Biden announced sanctions in response to Russian President Vladimir Putin's decision to send troops into a region of eastern Ukraine. The sanctions would impact two large Russian financial institutions, in addition to cutting off Russia's government from Western financing. Those sanctions could also cut some oil supplies, which could drive gas prices up. President Biden also said he is sending more firepower to the region with approximately 800 additional troops, along with 8 fighter jets and 32 helicopters. Germany also announced it will halt the $11 billion pipeline that would have moved natural gas from Russia to Germany. Now to your night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Tonight, the FBI is investigating threats made to the Lapwai School District. The district sent all students home early today after threatening calls were made to their schools. The district posted on Facebook the school was put into lockdown before they eventually dismissed students. Police were also on hand to ensure that students were released safely. The schools will be closed tomorrow as well out of an abundance of caution. The district has not released any details about what the phone call said or exactly what the threat was. Police, though, actively patrolling the area and warning community members to stay indoors. The FBI is also assisting in the investigation. Ahead of the expiration of the statewide indoor mask mandate next month, the Colville School District is already dropping their mask mandate. Students had the option to wear a mask today. This came after their school board voted last week to make them optional for students. Teachers, staff, and visitors, though, are still required to wear masks. Masks also required on school buses as a federal mandate. Colville is the third local school district to end the mask mandate early, following Kettle Falls and the Richland School District. Pre-sale tickets went on sale this afternoon for Paul McCartney's first ever show in Spokane, at least for American Express card holders, but buyers be warned. The Spokane Public Facilities District, which runs the arena, says you should only buy tickets through ticketswest.com or directly through the Spokane Arena's website. Prices range from $99 to $299. Tickets open up for everyone starting on Friday. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. Taking a look at your Northwest news now, dozens of Idaho lawmakers are looking to ban any future mask mandates in the state. House Bill 631 would prohibit the state of Idaho, a political subdivision, or any officer from the state from mandating the use of face masks or shields, including inside schools. Those opposed to it are concerned about the impact the bill could have on the future of public health. The bill was hotly debated at the State House yesterday with a lot of back and forth over the science behind masks, especially for children. Well, this bill would only apply to government entities, not private businesses. While the majority of those who debated the bill were against it, it did pass 46-24, and it now heads to a Senate committee for consideration. All right, don't go to bed just yet. After the break, we'll have the story of a local couple helping the homeless community during these frigid cold temperatures. Plus, later on the broadcast, an update on our exclusive KREM 2 investigation into the Spokane shock. We are back in just 90 seconds.